how to define landform. Now, here begins your geomorphology with the understanding of what is landform. So, the first definition will be from Davis. He is the father of geomorphology. Second will be from Pink. Then third, I will bring in Gilbert. And then maybe Thornbury, because Thornbury is these days shining in civil services. So, definition by these four distinct scholars on landform. So, what is a landform? So, please write Davis. Davis says, landform is a function of, likhiye, landform is a function of landform is the function of a structure, process and stage. A structure, process and stage. Three key elements he identified. Landform is the function of, इसको पढ़ करके थोड़ा समझने की कोशिश करो खुद से भी. Landform is the function of a structure, process, stage. Now, what is a structure? And how a structure determines the landform? I can explain you with a simple example. Say there is a place called Rajasthan, Jaisalmer. I visited Churu, so I will take example of Churu. Churu is the gateway to the western deserts, the Thar. Gateway to Thar कहते हैं to Churu को. So along Churu, there is a limestone hill, a small hill, monadnock, or let's call it hill, and there is a granitic hill. Now, in the same given climatic conditions, with the same set of exogenetic forces, which hill will be eroded rapidly and which will survive the threat of times? Who will survive and who will be decayed easily? Now, we have to see here that the processes are going to be the same. So, the processes are homogeneous. So that process variable is constant in scientific language. When the process variable is constant, the stage variable is constant. Stage meaning both are hill, so their stage is also the same. So when the process variable is same, stage variable is same, then how a structure can create the distinction or create the difference in the landform evolution. So say in the dry climate where rainfall is very meager, the granite has more erodibility than limestone because of the difference in the structure. Say the granite is having a lot of joints. It is crystalline rock, so it have a lot of joints. It has crystals, and crystals always will be, the surface of the crystal always will have plane, horizontal, vertical planes. They are called joints. Now, when it will be very high temperature at 2 p.m. in the noon, the rocks will expand, so the joints will expand. And in the night at 4 a.m. when it is coolest, when the additional terrestrial heat has been lost and the deserts are cool, then it will contract. So contraction and expansion of the joints will lead to what? Exfoliation of the rock. Exfoliation meaning peeling of the rocks, shattering of the rocks, breaking of the rocks, and the pieces of granite will break and fall. It will roll down over the down slopes towards the valley, and granite will be more rapidly eroded than limestone. While limestone doesn't have such joints, it is packed, it is very compact rock, it has very fine, it has no grains as such, no crystals. It is very fine grained. It is a dust kind of thing, dust kind of a stick of thing. So it will resist erosion. And the whole idea is that since it resists erosion, it will remain projected as hill itself, while the granite will be planed or penny-planed, or it will be sent into rambles, transformed into rambles, heap of stone and the boulders and the gravels. This is the destiny of granite. Now the difference was one of a structure. So who is the landform is the function of a structure, true. Now process. अब ऐसा करते हैं कि कांस्टेंट करते हैं स्ट्रक्चर को. सो वी हैव लाइमस्टोन हीप, लाइमस्टोन माउंटेन, लाइमस्टोन हिल, एंड देयर वी चेंज द क्लाइमेट. नाउ राजस्थान इज हैविंग ए डिफरेंट क्लाइमेट. अच्छी प्रोसेस में चेंज कर दिया. नाउ इट्स रेनिंग हेविली. हु विल बी डिकेड फास्टर? लाइमस्टोन. सो व्हेन द प्रोसेस विल चेंज, the landform so evolved will be different. The same limestone in wet climate, the same limestone in structure is same. So same limestone is in dry climates. The landform so evolved will be different. It will not remain the same. So Davis is rightly saying that landforms are the function of a structure. So a structure determines the shape and size, geometry of the landform. Then he says, not only the structure but also the processes operating on it, the climatic processes operating on it, the geomorphic processes operating on it. So when the geomorphic processes operating on it, like the running water or the temperature variations or maybe the glaciers, whatever, maybe the wind, whatever, maybe the weathering processes, they're all geomorphic processes. So when the geomorphic processes will operate on the same structure, but the processes are different, then the landforms will also be different. Okay. Then going to a stage. Now here a stage is a unit of time. If a segment of time, a division of time, in plain words, a stage is a division of time. Maybe the landforms as seen by Davis has Darwinian impact of Darwin. And Davis is looking at landforms as an organism who is having a life cycle. So a landform could be in youthful stage, a landform could be in mature stage, and a landform could be in old stage. There are 3 stages for the landforms, right? तो ये organic evolution का जो डार्विन का थ्योरी है, I think it has impacted Davis as well. I'm a very keen admirer of Darwin. You will very often listen to me talking about Darwin in my class. So stages में जैसे I can give you one example. Himalayas are in early maturity or youthful stage. Himalayas are in youthful stage. Look at the mountains, look at the valleys, look at the slope, the convex slope. हिमालय का कॉन्वेक्स स्लोप एकदम सीना तान के खड़ा है. द हाइट, द एल्टीट्यूड, द शार्प वैलीज, द ग्रेडियंट ऑफ द स्लोप, द फोर्स ऑफ द रिवर, नहीं, द रोलिंग पेबल्स एंड कॉबल्स एंड व्हाट नॉट. So just look at the Himalayas. They present the picture of a youth. Think of Ural mountain. Maybe you have not seen it. But Ural is late maturity, aging out, graying with time. And then you have the third, the Aravalis. Aravalis were also as magnanimous as Himalayas. But nowadays, you can see only the skeletal part of Aravalis. And you will find that Aravalis are in old stage. And very soon, Aravalis will be lost in oblivion, and even the minor altitudes which are the leftovers of the Aravalis, even that will be removed, obliterated from the landscape. and the story of Aravalis will be over. Like your or my or anybody's life story will be over. So here the stage is only a division of time. Now what he says, what Davis says, that during different stages the rate of erosion will be different. So the landform shaped will be different. And just I can give you one example, that during the youthful stage you will have I-shaped valleys, vertical valleys, I-shaped valleys, or gorges you call it, right? In the late stage, in the mature stage, it becomes U-shaped valley. So first you have I-shaped valley, then V-shaped valley, then it evolves into U-shaped valley. The same valleys are evolving U-shaped. Then concave, large U-shaped valleys. Widening, valley widening हो रहा है, wide हो गया valleys, mountains छोटा हो गया. And finally mountains are over, only valleys are there. So flat valleys. So there is a genetic connection in the evolution of landform, and in different stages the intensity and magnitude of work is different. So a stage or time determines the intensity and magnitude of work. After you can never be 16 again, I'm telling you. You can never be 20 again. It applies to me also. You can never be a child again. So you are evolving, and your intensity, your magnitude is all changing with time, which biology में जिसको लोग कहेंगे हार्मोन्स चेंज हो रहा है, लाइफ चेंज हो रहा है, थॉट प्रोसेस चेंज हो रहा है. तुम्हारा the way I could get angered at the age of 25, I cannot do it. My body and mind doesn't take that kind of anger. That anger is there. That's part of my personality. That might be. ऐसा मत समझना कि मैं बहुत क्रोधी हूँ यार. Don't take bad impression about me. I'm just taking an example. So the way gulab jamun tasted when I was 8 years old, or the malpua of my mother tasted when I was a boy, small boy, it doesn't taste the same way, and I'm afraid of that sticky sugar around it. बचपन में उसी चीनी को डब्बे से निकाल के चोरी करके मुंह में डाल के क्रश करके चीनी को खाता था मैं. आज उस चीनी से डर लगता है, बिकॉज यू ग्रो डबल चिन, पता नहीं क्या क्वाड्रिलैटरल चिन, क्या क्या चिन्ह है आजकल भाई. सो यू हैव टू मेंटेन गुड हेल्थ, सो यू आर अवेयर. But this awareness is overpowered by your taste buds or your lust for food sometime, because I have been, in terms of food, I have been really lusty person all my years. What is a stage in Davis? Stage का मतलब क्या है Davis में? Time, division of time. And in different stages, landforms so evolved will show different characteristics, different properties. So landform ultimately is the function of these three variables, which I explained, and I will be coming to Davis in a big way when I will start teaching the cycle of erosion. So don't worry about Davis. Even if you understood things fractionally, I am successful today and you are doing good. Now pink, please write the definition by pink. Ligo. Landform is the product of the ratio of work between the endogenetic and exogenetic forces. The ratio of work. It's a very smart definition. It's a quantitative definition. इसको हम लोग बोलते हैं क्वांटिटेटिव एनालिसिस. लिख लो ना, क्वांटिटेटिव एनालिसिस ऑफ लैंडफॉर्म. डेविस को बोलते हैं qualitative analysis of landform. Now, ever in UPSC, if there is a question on quantitative analysis of landform, don't shy away from writing pink. समझ गया ना, pink को लिखना होता है if there is a question on quantitative analysis. Now, what is the meaning of pink? Ratio of work between epigene and hypogene, meaning the endogenetic and exogenetic. Hypogene meaning endogenetic, epigene meaning exogenetic. External forces or internal forces of the earth. What is volcanism? What is tectonic activities? What are tectonic activities and what are seismic activities? They are all endogenetic or hypogene. Now, the action of river or glaciers or the sea waves or the underground water or the wind or the climatic elements, other climatic agents, they are exogenetic forces. So ratio of work कैसे है वो देखते हैं. Say the Himalayas have been uplifted 10 meters from the base level or the sea level. मान लो 10 meters का upliftment हुआ, but as the upliftment has started, the exogenetic forces, the glaciers and the wind and the rivers and the streams will start eroding it. So this material will be actually distributed down the lower slope. Look at this lower slope. And what we get today, what we get to see today, or the landscape which we receive today, is this hill, is this kind of a structure. So this new structure is a reality. So what is this landform? The ratio of work between. Now the height is say 6 meters. Where is this 4 meter gone? 4 meters कहाँ चला गया? Erosion में चला गया, redistribution of sediment में चला गया. तो this highland, the current highland is the what? Is the ratio of work between endogenetic and exogenetic. 10 मीटर का अपलिफ्टमेंट हुआ, 4 मीटर उसका इरोजन हो गया, तो 6 मीटर का एल्टीट्यूड रह गया. तो ये 6 मीटर क्या है? ये रियलिटी है. दैट इज व्हाट वी रिसीव टुडे, obtained today. Okay, so according to him, any landform is the product of function of the ratio of work between exogenetic and endogenetic. So pink is done. Now please write on Gilbert. Gilbert is my favorite. So please write on Gilbert. लिखो गिलबर्ट का, लिखो landforms are the crustal features. Landforms are the crustal features which possess crustal features, which possess dimensions altitude, magnitude, slope, form, geometry, and a unique configuration, गिलबर्ट का डेफिनेशन पढ़ो. Any crustal feature which is having slope, altitude, magnitude, amplitude, geometrical configuration, form, so anything can be a landform. Gives a very plain, a straight and simple definition. So even a trench is a landform. So landform doesn't mean that it has to have altitudes. If there is a trench, it is also a landform. Because it has certain geometrical configuration. So a landform is a trench, a landform is a valley, a landform is a synclinal basin, a landform is a highland, a landform is a plateau. So anything can be, any crustal feature or any configuration can be a landform according to Gilbert. All these landforms are in dynamic equilibrium. So there is a theory by Gilbert which we will take up in the evolution of landform or maybe in the slope analysis. वहाँ पे बात करेंगे about dynamic equilibrium of the landforms. Stoller is also in favor of the dynamic equilibrium. Okay. Then you have Thornbury. So please write. लिखो landform is an individual feature such as a valley, slope or mountain. A valley, slope or mountain. While landscape is the combined effect of numerous landforms such as again mountain, plateau, plain, whatever. Then write these landforms are created by endogenetic forces and modified by exogenetic processes. We'll continue with Thornbury. Please write. Landforms are classified as first order landforms or the primary landforms, second order landforms, primary, you can call it first order landform, secondary, you can call it second order landform, tertiary. It should not take an Einstein to understand that tertiary will be called third order landform. Okay, primary, come to primary. Primary, they are product of endogenetic forces. Endogenetic meaning internal forces of the earth. For example, the volcanic seismic processes, or you can write it tecto-volco-seismic processes. They are called endogenetic forces, and there are two. The example of such primary landform will be the continental masses and the ocean basins. Continental masses are mainly granitic, ocean basins are mainly basaltic. Okay, so this is your primary landform. This is your primary landform. Put in a box. Primary landforms are the continental masses, the continental pieces, and the oceanic basins, not the oceans. Pacific is not a landform. The Pacific basin is a landform. That is primary landform. Now secondary landform or the second order. So it is product of endogenetic forces, but modified by what? Exogenetic. Exogenetic meaning the agents of gradation, like the river, the glacier, the wind, the groundwater, and the sea waves. They are called exogenetic forces. I repeat again: river, glacier, wind, groundwater, sea waves. They are agents of gradation. Fine. So they are actually product of endogenetic forces. Endogenetic are actually creating them, but they are being modified by the exogenetic forces. Now example here will be one, plains, plateaus, and mountains. So the plain, plateau, and mountain are basically secondary features. They are produced by endogenetic but modified by exogenetic. So you have plain, plateau, and mountain. There is one more being added here these days, the longitudinal valleys. The longitudinal valley. The longitudinal valleys are also considered the second order landforms. What are these longitudinal valleys? Say you have a Shivalik mountain, then you have the lesser Himalayas, and then you have the greater Himalayas. So there is a valley running from east to west, dividing them. And these valleys are tectonic in origin. Now these valleys cannot be classified as mountain, they cannot be classified as plain, you cannot call them plateau as well. So, but they are part of the same process as the mountains are created, but you cannot call these valleys mountain. So the longitudinal valleys are also the example of second order landforms. I hope you learned this. I am not responsible for what is written in Savinder Singh. Now tertiary landform, third order landform. In third order landform, you have to write that they are product of exogenetic forces, and endogenetic forces are negated here. The work of endogenetic forces are negligible, and maybe some of the landforms will be doing isostatic adjustments, but the endogenetic forces are largely absent or negligible. 0.1% काम करेगा तो होगा, बाकी it is product of exogenetic forces. Exogenetic forces you very well understand that they are agents of gradation. We have river, glacier, wind, groundwater, and the sea waves. So here you have product of exogenetic forces. Example could be anything. So any feature which is entangled in the mountain, any feature which has been carved out over the plateau, any feature which has been depicted over the plains, they're all third order landforms, they're all tertiary landforms. Okay, so the three different orders of landform. So मान लो कि we take example of delta. So what is a delta? Exogenetic forces ने काम किया. So delta is an example of what? Tertiary landform. What is a U-shaped valley or wide U-shaped valley or V-shaped valley or gorges or canyon? They're all they are produced by exogenetic forces. They have been carved out over the second order landform. It is something like the second order landforms are carved into the primary landform, and all the third order landforms are actually carved out from the second order landform. So this is how you have to remember. If the ocean basin is the primary landform, then the ridges will be the secondary landform, and from the ridges what is produced? The sea hills, the guyards, the knoll. So these guyards and knolls and sea hills will be the tertiary landform. So please remember it. They are not really separable. So secondary landforms are embedded in primary, tertiaries are embedded in secondary. And here we can have numerous examples. So whatever landforms which we study in the geomorphic processes, they all fall under tertiary landforms. Like I said, delta, floodplains, the Oxbow Lake, the Tarn Lake, the Esker, the drumlins, जो भी randomly याद आ रहा है, ये सब they're all third order landforms, right? So I hope I have been precise and very clear that the landform, definition of the landform, and then the classification of the landform, and you have learned today you have learned a lot of things today. A, you have learned the answer writing part. B, what is geomorphology. C, what is landform. So we have done the work today. Thank you for the day, and it's already 5. It's more than 5. So wish you great luck. Feel energetic all the time. Be happy all the time. And how to keep yourself happy all the time? Thinking of something novel, something childish, something detective type brain that will keep you alive. Okay, and be interested in food, be interested in people, be interested जहाँ तक करते रहना चाहिए. That will keep your life moving. Thank you. Bye.